Let's just say this exceeded every expectation. This goes without saying, please, if you have not finished this book, keep scrolling and come back later when you finished it because we have a lot to talk about. As someone who really enjoys romantasy, and then the more that I've read, the more that I enjoy high fantasy, like even more than romantasy, this was a perfect transition book that incorporates both sides so well. I understand what everyone's saying about being kind of lost about the names and all that stuff, but that's just the nature of transitioning into high fantasy. I'm just gonna basically touch on a few things and open up the comments for all of your thoughts. I want to hear your theories. Obviously, the ending is the biggest thing I want to talk about. We have a whole missing 12 hours where we wake up and essentially they're married. She's the Duchess of Tyrrendor and Xaden's nowhere to be found. I think everybody up to this point agrees that Violet was in on the marriage and in on everything that happened, and then she asked Imogen, obviously, to wipe her memory so that she could keep Xaden safe. I also do think, now that we have the knowledge that Andarna can break and bend magic to her will, specifically bond, I think that she probably did sever the bond between Taryn and Scale, which is heartbreaking, but we do know that she can restore bonds also. I really think the Irids are gonna either end up being like the all-time weapon that defeats everybody, or they're gonna end up being evil. Something I really didn't like was when Andarna was like in chapter 53 trying to decide if she's gonna break this bond. Essentially, older Irid that was like part of her family line just broke the bond for her, and I didn't like that. Choice was taken away from her, so that kind of makes me feel like they're gonna go more in the evil direction. Not really sure we have enough information to fully dive into it yet. Taryn is in a cycle of rest to recover, which kind of leads me to believe it could have been severing the bond. I would also like to point out that in books 1, 2, and 3 now it has been proven that Taryn will always choose Violet, Xaden will always choose Violet, and Scale is never chosen as anybody's first choice. The moment where Taryn really chooses, okay, I'm gonna choose Violet over my mate. I might be totally wrong, but let me know your thoughts on that. There's another Venin brother that Xaden has now, and based on evidence and where all the characters are, it has to be either Bodhi or Garrett. I lean more towards Bodhi just because Bodhi does what Xaden does and he wants to be his right-hand man, and how can you be his right-hand man if you're not with him? I am sensing a new enemies to lovers between Dane and Sloane. So cute, love to see it. Now on to sadder topics. I watched an interview that Rebecca Yarros said that the reason that Liam got killed off, he was a perfect character from the beginning. There was nowhere for him to go, there was no room for him to grow, he was just perfect from the beginning, and so he was plotted from the get to be killed. This scares me because I fear Riddick is a perfect character. One of the most iconic parts is chapter 12, the very beginning, like the little quote. It says, "You might be angry when you realize I didn't wake you to say goodbye, but it's only because I no longer fully trust my ability to walk away." That is from Xaden Ryerson to our girl, Violet Sorrengail. Would like to mention that it's on chapter 12, 12 missing hours. I think she did that on purpose. My last thought is, what if Naelin, Taryn's previous writer, the one he refuses to speak about, was turned Venin in the rebellion? Considering how sensitive Taryn is about the whole subject and refusing to give Xaden any grace. There's obviously a lot more to cover, but I would love to hear your theories, so let me know in the comments.